Hey, hey, hey,
Hello,
hey.
everybody. Hey,
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hiya, Paul.
good
How you doing?
evening. I'm doing all right, you know. I'm doing all
Good,
right.
good. Did you
Just
jam into the music?
yeah, of course, you saw me as well, you know, and you. It's funny we both done it at the same time, believe it or not.
Well,
Hello, everybody
so
in the room.
everyone, thanks for joining us. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome to Gym
Yep,
Time. And for those who have been joining us for the last 16 episodes, Paul,
I'm
thank you for
telling you.
joining us. Thank you for supporting us, supporting the channel and sharing it. So one thing that we do ask you to do is to share, to subscribe, hit the notification
Like,
button so that you will know when we are live. We are live normally
absolutely.
every Monday anyway, so we normally send it out to you guys. So Paul, go ahead.
And I wanted to say hi to the secret watchers as well, and those that are watching this on the replay as well. Thank you so much, as my sister said rightfully. Please, share, subscribe. What I'm going to do now is my disclaimer as such. So I don't claim to be have a doctor in all these areas, a doctorship, or I have certificates, but I do have experience, and what I want to say is listen to everything that we got to say, take it, on the real. What we're trying to do is motivate, encourage, and empower you, and that you learn something. You can take something from this, some nuggets. Fine tune some of the things that solutions to some problems or situations that you may be in, and but don't hold us accountable if they don't work for you. But like I said, and I always say, fine tune them. Something that we would say in this podcast may jump out at you, and you think, you know what? Yeah, I should address that. So yes, that's my disclaimer for today. Don't chop off my neck if it no work. Yeah. But give me praise if it does. No, not really.
Yeah, so I remember when I used to do my radio show, Pure Inspiration Talks, and I used to say to everyone, I don't know everything, but what I do know, I will share it with you. And it still remains the same. Don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Don't claim to know everything. But there are several things that I have done over the years that has absolutely worked for me. And in my relationship, now I'm married for a second time, and there's things that I definitely did the first time around that I do not do now. So it's a learning curve for all of us.
Yes,
And
it is.
I think that what my brother said, on this platform, we are very open, we're very honest, we're very transparent, and we share things with you. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. Just try something different. Just try
That's
something
right.
new. Don't just stick to the same old, same old. We might come up with certain things that you've never heard of, never tried before, and it's worth implementing it in your relationship and seeing how it works, because without doing that, you will never ever know. So that's what I would like to say for today. So tonight we are talking about love languages. What are love languages? Some of you may have heard
Mhm.
about it, some of you may not. And we can't assume that everybody's heard about love languages, Paul.
I know, I know.
On the
I mean,
circle,
I think it took a few years before I heard of this. But it's funny you saying this. Um, I was obviously, I do a bit of research and I go and I look at where it came from, etc. And one writer puts the concept of love languages was an idea put forward by Gary Chapman in his book, The Five Love Languages. Yeah.
yeah.
How to express heartfelt commitment to your mate. That was in 1992, believe it or not.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I was taken back. That is as far back as that. And some people, are here now and think, what are you talking about? But I think some of us have an idea of what certain connections, as we would say. But something that
Yeah.
I wanna read before we go into that, if that's okay, Debbie.
Yeah. Go
I,
ahead.
I, I actually was going to do it the other way around, but it just makes sense.
Yeah.
In
Go
this
on.
writing, this person says some people think that these kinds of things that we're going to talk about, the love languages, means that two people are incompatible. The good news is that missed signals like these are likely less about chemistry and more about communication. People communicate their feelings differently. If you care deeply about someone but feel like you aren't connecting, don't give up. Instead, try learning your love languages. You see why I
Yeah.
read it now,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we might go into this and you might think, oh, that's why my relationship isn't working. You know, it's not a negative, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what
But
I
I think that I think that if you are experiencing a number of challenges in your relationship, instead of doing the same thing and getting the same results, why not try something different? And I know that some people, I think that the term love language for some people is kind of like I've heard it being said like this, oh, this is to do with like mentoring and coaching and people who do inspirational talking and stuff like that. Love language has been about as long as we can remember. It's just that it's got a title now. It's got a title, and so that's why we use it. You can call it whatever you want. Communicating with my spouse, you know, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but ultimately we are calling it love language so that it will define it in a particular way so that we can understand what it is that we're talking about. And I do like the fact that it's called love language, to be quite honest. Prior to knowing about love languages, I only really tapped into it in like early 2000s, finding out about love languages, because being in that whole counseling, coaching arena and going to so many different events, people started talking about different personality types. That's what it was. It was more personality types, things that people, what people's personalities are like, what people like and what they don't like, what they cleave to and what they don't. And so, you know, it's kind of evolved into, you know, this love language, and I think it's good. I think it's a good way to understand what it is that your partner is trying to express to you and really want. So we've said, is it important within a relationship? So I think that from the get-go, both of us think that it's important within a relationship. I think that if we understand what the love languages are and how to implement them, well, not so much implement them, how to recognize them, it's kind of difficult sometimes if people are not communicating it to you. Do you get what I mean? Like if you're with someone and they don't know what their love language is, it's kind of you're just going to have to kind of be discerning and pick up what it is that they like. You know. And I remember Karen Allen, good friend of mine, she did singles. She had a singles group years ago in church called Pearls, Princesses Enjoying a Royal Lifestyle. I don't know if you remember it. And I remember I did a talk there all this time ago, and I was saying to them that you cannot implement something from a relationship that you've had before into a new relationship. So I was saying, supposing that, you know, you like your ears being stroked, and then you enter into this, like that was into a relationship before, you know, that person that you was with, like their ears being stroked and caressed, and then you now go into this relationship and you do it to this next person, and like, get off. Do you know what I mean? It's like what is going on? Why is this person being like this?
Let me look in your ears.
That's something that you did in a previous relationship that worked there. That's not that person's love language. They may not want to be touched. But saying that, there, you know, part of the love language is, you know, touch, but there are people who they don't want to be touched, not because it's not their love language though, but because they've experienced trauma. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because then you need to find out why that person doesn't want to be touched. Is it because it's not their love language, or it is their love language? You know, it can get a little bit tricky. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to play a short clip of a video explaining about what love languages are about, so that all of us will be on the same page. Yeah.
Should we give them the quick list of what they are though?
I am. This is what I'm going to do.
Oh, is that what you're going to do on that? Okay.
Yeah.
See, this isn't rehearsed, so you can see that me and Debbie ain't like, you know, in the background, we're looking at, oh, and this is and that, and you know, this is.
So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share quickly a little bit explanation about the love language. Okay, so here we are.
What's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be on the book The 5 Love Languages, The Secrets to Love That Last by Dr. Gary Chapman. So have you ever been in one of those relationships where you think you're doing everything you can to please your partner, but they're still feeling frustrated and unloved? I mean, you're giving them compliments, you work hard all day to bring home the bacon and pay the bills, you give them gifts, and you even do some chores around the house, but they're still feeling unloved. I mean, what more do they want, right? It's incredibly frustrating and annoying. Well, the reason why they aren't feeling loved, in short, is that you're not speaking their love language. The premise of the book is that people don't give and receive love in the same way. Most of us think that the way we want to be loved is how others want to be loved as well, but this is not the case. There are in fact 5 love languages. This is huge because if you're not speaking the same language as your partner, then you could be missing the mark completely and not even know it. It's basically the equivalent of a British guy trying to talk to a Chinese guy. It's not going to go well because they're simply not going to understand each other. If you're going to have a strong relationship, you have to know how you and your partner both give and receive love. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Let's go.
Yeah, Paul, what do you think about the love languages, and have you identified yours?
Wow, that's a big question, isn't it? Yeah, I understand it, and it's funny because I am a physical. Acts of service, not necessarily. I don't have to receive. You know, affirmation. I absolutely for me.
Thank you.
What you say to me. Not necessarily. I don't have to be affirmed, but what you say means a lot. Those compliments that you give, it means a whole lot. Your words, what you say is a negative, it affects me. What you say is a positive affects me. Quality time. Yeah, I think I am a quality time person as well. But saying that, I think that there are moments in my life where I like just my time, I just nobody around me, just to catch my thoughts. But generally quality time. Receiving gifts, I can take it or leave it. I think I'm not cool. I will take it. Do you know what I mean? You come in, you're saying, look, I got you this. I'll be touched by it, but it's not something that you have to do with me all the time.
Right. Right.
And again, it depends on what you do. So, for instance, as they say, men, flowers don't mean I like flowers. That's not I like flowers. I love orchids. I think orchids are the most beautiful flowers that you can get. I love the smell. I love everything about it. But I also like to plant. So I to receive gifts, if that was one of them. Oh man, once you understand me and what I like, in that sort of respect, then. So really, out of there, that's 3 out of 5.
Right.
You could say 4 out of 5. What about you?
I was going to say, I think that with some of them, they might overlap anyway. I think that we all exhibit want all of those love languages in operation at some point, but it's those that are more poignant,
Prominent.
those that are more stronger. Yeah. So my one is touch and affirmations. Those are my main 2, like acts of service, beautiful. Like I'm the act of service, so that's what I do for others. I just think that touch and affirmations are my main 2. I do like acts of service, gifts, but it's not high on my agenda at all. Really, really isn't. What is the third? What is the other one that I've missed?
Affirmation. No, quality time.
Quality time. That's my other one. Quality time. Affirmation and
affirmation
touch.
and physical touch. Yeah. What about you guys out there? Some of you guys, do you know what your love languages are and what stands out more than others? Please put them up, whether you're male or female.
Let me just read this. Coaxing communication, Lydia said. Faye actually said she remembers pearls, and I guess you would, because that was some time ago. That was when a lot of people. Did you just put that one up?
No, you did.
Oh, Lydia said, "Oh, OMG, I love Karen Allen. Me too. She's a dear friend of mine." And Sharon Winter, our cousin, said, hi, everyone. Faye's laughing. And that was it. So, guys, what are your love languages? We've highlighted the 5 love languages, which is touch, affirmation,
acts of
acts of
service,
service,
quality time,
receiving
gifts.
What are your love languages? Have you guys identified your love languages?
That's right.
That's the
physical
thing.
touch, acts of service, affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts.
Yeah.
What say you out there? Yeah, go on.
I think that if you know what your love language is, then you're obviously able to express that to your partner. And it said it in that short video clip. Oftentimes, what we do, we try to love people in the way that we want to be loved, and oftentimes that isn't the thing. And if you find somebody and they don't want to be loved the way that you want to love them, then it's down to you to find out what their love languages are. You're in your right to say, I'm not getting this right. Like, tell me how you want me to love you. Show me the things that work for you, because what I'm doing obviously isn't working. But I do find that people think, if that person isn't loving me in the way that I want to be loved, they tend to go down the route of saying we're not compatible, rather than going down the route of expressing and showing them how they want to be loved. And I think that sometimes when people are not able to express that, that's probably because they haven't done that soul searching for themselves. They haven't yet identified the things that they actually like. They just go through life in relationships, and if things work, it works. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And they think, well, that person I wasn't compatible with. And I find that people tend to blame the other person for not fulfilling their needs. But if you're that individual and your needs are not being met, you can be vocal and say, these are the things that I like. I know that you love me in this particular way, and that's great, but that doesn't totally work for me. Do you remember the other week when we was talking about if you're I can't remember why we got onto it, but if you're loving someone in the way that they don't want to be loved, and that person isn't able to communicate it, then you might need to just try different things. Do you remember?
Yeah. Here's something that look at my eyes. Was that the Jace? Yeah. Says, what about those that don't relate to any in particular? And I was reading somewhere as well, not today, but I read it before, that they say that there are more than 5 love languages if you was to break it down a little bit more. And so what are you talking about in particular? What about those that don't relate to any in particular? What? I'm asking you that question. Go on, Debbie, you can read the other one while we wait.
So Faye made me smile there. She said, touch, very tactile, me too. Affirmations, receive gifts, would love to receive a car. However, not a biggie. Act of service, basically all the above.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? It is nice when you receive gifts, but it's never been something that has been fundamental for me. Like, if you give me your time and you don't give me any gifts, I'm happy. I'm a happy bunny. Do you get what I mean? If you give me gifts and you don't give me your time, I'm not feeling it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not feeling it at all. So Jay said, yeah, I was wondering if there were more than 5. So that's a good question to ask, because apparently I was reading an article not so long ago and they said that there was more than 5. I think that they said that there was 7, but I can't remember what the other 2 were. But Jace, if you think that there are other things, share it in the chat. What do you think? Do you think that there's other things that are out there? Okay, let's go down. QT Faye said, she said quality time. Did I miss that one out? Maybe I did. So Jay says, I think I a physical touch and quality time person, but not all that much, and don't really relate to the rest. Okay, well, that's fine. You know, like I said earlier on, the physical touch and the quality time that you may have, like I said, there are some people, like you mentioned it, Paul, there are times that you want that, and then there's other times where it's like, leave me alone. I want my space. And I think that, like I said, there might be that desire to have that physical touch, and there might be some people who might crave attention but don't want physical touch. And sometimes it's a bit of a weird one, because it's like, is there something in their past that may be causing them to think or feel that way, or is it just that they crave attention but don't want to be touched? I really don't know. That's going a little bit deep into the psyche of the individual. Yeah, but I think that if you like to be touched, like I'm very tactile. I like to be touched often. There are some people that like to be touched, but only at certain points. I wouldn't say that that person really is somebody who wants to touch. Like, I wouldn't consider that to be one of their primary things. If it's just every so often, like the physical touch, I wouldn't put that down to be their love language, then one of their key love languages. I wouldn't, because if you don't like it often and that person does it often, that's going to wind you up. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think
being touched
go
often?
finish.
Yeah.
Do you think then how you like physical touch? Do you think that if you was with, you know, like your Gary, as my sister's husband, if he didn't really like the physical touch, do you think though that he should adapt in himself doing it to you, even though he may not physically like it that much? Do you think that that's how these love languages should work, that we understand it, even though we may not have it as a first or a second, but we meet that person's requirement? Do you think that that
Absolutely. That's what it is. That's what I believe it is, that it's not about how you want to be loved or how you want to express your love, but rather meeting the needs of the individual. So if your partner wants quality time and that's not your key love language, you have to meet your partner's needs. That's why you're there. That's why I'm saying, when somebody doesn't meet that need, oftentimes people will say we are not compatible. That's not
right.
true.
That's what I read.
That's because you're not willing to meet that person's need. You want to love them how you want to love them.
That's right.
And it will never work, because you cannot love someone the way that you want to love them. You have to be giving of yourself and loving them the way that they want to be loved. So if he wasn't tactile, because my husband is tactile, his love language is touch. You know, if that wasn't one of his love languages, I would expect him to meet my love language. Do you get what I mean? And I don't think that that's unfair. Some people will say, oh, you know what, I'm just not that touchy-feely kind of person, so, you know, I'm just not going to do it. Well, be by yourself then. Do you get what I mean?
I think, do you know what, and I agree with that, because if someone's communicating to you, this is what, you know, I like, you know, this is a core, let's use the word, it's a core thing for me, you know, being, let's say, oh, sorry, let me just stop a second, because I was reading something as well that spoke about acts of service. Was it acts of service? No, giving gifts or receiving gifts. And they said that some people can view it as that they're just a gold digger, you know, give me, and that person's just giving, because but all of these are within a balance. There's a balance to it. And it isn't like you're going to have to be buying gifts for this person all the time because they like receiving gifts. But it's at those moments, and it doesn't have to be birthday. It doesn't have to be Christmas. You know, if you celebrate Christmas, it doesn't have to be in those moments. It's those in between times where you go out and you say, I was thinking about you and I got you this.
Yeah, I think that's where it really shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's where it really shows up big time for someone who likes gifts to be bought for them. And I think
Yeah.
that somebody who is meeting the other person's need, the person who's buying the gifts, if their needs are being met, their love language are being recognized, they're not going to be feeling like I'm giving.
That's right.
People
That's
only
right.
feel that way when their needs are not being met. So
That's right.
you're just taking, but you're not giving back.
Yeah.
If you're giving back, that person is going to feel totally fine with giving you gifts. They're going to, because they like giving, because that person likes receiving gifts and they see the response that they get from it, they're going to want to give. Do you get what I
That's
mean?
right. Or should.
They're going to want to keep on giving to that person.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
if the person that is giving, their act of their love language is acts of service, and that person is providing stuff, you know, bringing their dinner, you know, opening up the door, you know, doing all those things, and that person's their needs are gonna be met. They're not gonna
That's right.
feel like you're a gold
There's a
digger.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's read
I'm
some
gonna
of these.
read some. Yeah. Oh, see, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Faye says not hiding real feelings, and then straight after she says, and expect other person to know what you're thinking, which is very true. You can't, you can't be hiding your feelings and then expect that person to be the mind reader. Oh, you know what? I know what you're feeling. He's not God. He's not God. So you don't know. You need to open up your mouth. You need to talk to her and talk to shit. Go on, you go, Lydia and Sharon.
Okay, Lydia says, having a good laugh and being held as much as possible. That's nice.
Guys, I want to hear from some men as well. Come on, I know there's some men out there.
Is laughter a love language? Because you know what? You often find that people say, I want somebody who makes me laugh. Don't you find that?
Yeah.
So I wonder if laughter is a love language.
I don't know if it would come under something like acts
of service. Not really.
Not really. I think, like we said earlier, these are the 5 that was identified by Gary Chapman.
Yeah.
But others speak about other areas as well. So that might be, I think for you as an individual, you should be happy in yourself, and somebody increases your happiness. If you're not happy in yourself, you can't rely on somebody else to make you happy. You have to have some form of happiness in yourself before receiving some from somebody else. I find that it's a block. Oh, like for instance, talk to me. I remember being in that situation because I'm a talker. Always been a talker. And I don't want to stop neither. And I remember being with this particular girlfriend back in the day. A couple of girlfriends were like this actually, and because I was always talking, but what people don't understand is that I also can be quiet. I can be very quiet and nothing to say, and there's nothing wrong with me. I just choose to not talk anymore, but people think there's something wrong with me if I'm not talking. But sometimes there is something wrong with me and I stop talking as well, but you're not going to know which one, because it's exactly the same way. So I would be there and I go quiet, and they'd say to me,
what's the
talk
matter?
to me. No, talk to me. And I'm like, about what? Anything. I said, I ain't got nothing to say. You started to talk to me. I don't know what to say. Well, then you know what? I knew you weren't the one from the moment that you said that, because I can make a conversation about toenails, about the bed sheets, about anything. I can, your experiences and I always say this, and I put it out there so that people who don't communicate very well or find it hard to communicate, your experiences in life gives you a platform to be able to speak. Yeah, you're able to relate to something. You're able to spark up a conversation, even if it's random. You say, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about when I was younger, my mum had me sweeping the house, sweeping like I was a slave, and I like the way that you are, that you don't expect me to be, I'm just throwing something out, because that might be nasty for some, but, there's something that you can communicate about all the time. But anyway, go on. You was going to read.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
think like tailing on the end of that, I think that there are people who genuinely are not talkative. They're not talkative people. But again, it is, in order for there to be communication and relationship, you're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to talk. And I find that people communicate a lot more in their dating season. And then when they're now together, they're not communicating as much. You know, people stay on the phone till 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they got to get up for work. Now you're in a relationship, you're not communicating. And to me, that's kind of crazy, because it's like now you've either caught that person, or now that person's in your life, you now have gone quiet. It's just boring and mundane, and you're just getting on with every single day life. Whereas that was the thing that you guys were doing to get to know each other. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
And it should continue. You should continue communicating, not just being quiet and then turn around and say, oh, I'm just not one of those people that really talk that much. But you was talking before, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. Excuse me, let me read this one.
I like that.
For me, this is Sharon. For me, and I quote from a song, actions, not a bag of mouth. So acts of service, quality time together, being able to talk and laugh with each other will be paramount for me. So again, there's laughter again.
Yep.
I'm starting to think that this is part of a love language.
I think it is.
Faye says, excellent sense of humor. It's good to laugh, very therapeutic, and laughter adds years to your life. I plan to be around for many years to come. So bring on the lows. The laugh out loud.
But hold on, Fear, you was funny. Which joke? I've spoken to many a times. I've not laughed yet. What is going on?
Faye can be very funny.
No, I know she can. I'm only playing with you, Faye.
Travel buffet. Hiya, cuz. If your love language is getting gifts, it's not the actual act of getting the gift. It's the thoughts and feelings behind the gifts. Absolutely. And it's, do you know why that is so true? Is because I was having a conversation, funny enough, with Gary the other week, and he said that he was going to get me something, and I was like, oh, thank you so much, and he was like, why are you saying thank you and you haven't even got the thing yet? And I was just like, because it's the thought that you was planning on getting that for me. And I was excited before I even got the thing, and I was saying thank you and showing my appreciation. He was just like, but you haven't got it yet. And he goes, all right, supposing I didn't get it for you then. I said, well, it will still be the thought that counts, you know? And he was just like, all right, then I don't need to get it for you because it's the thought that counts. But, you know, you're absolutely right. That's what I was actually thinking and feeling in that moment, that person thought about me. And you said it, thought about me and got me that thing, you know? And so, yeah, when somebody gives you stuff, it half of the time it isn't the gift. It's nice, but it is the fact that that person thought about you and went out of their way to bless you with something.
I just wanted to read some of the snippets of what they say about each love language. So physical touch. This love language centers around the idea of affection and physical contact. For couples, this could be through intimacy. However, it doesn't always have to be. This could be through hugs, kisses, or even sometimes as simple as a back massage when you're feeling stressed.
But you know what? You say that, me and Gary will just be sitting down watching TV, touch each other's thigh, touch each other's hands. We definitely do the whole footsie thing. Both me and him shake our feet. So he might rub my feet, I will rub his feet with our feet. Do you know what I mean? Because we just do it.
I'm a feet person as well, funny enough, you know. Me like foot. Yeah. and you know, anyway, let me leave that alone.
It's so funny, you know, because some people don't like feet. They're really funny.
No, I know. It's like, oh no, leave my feet. No.
Don't touch me with your feet.
I've met some that said, no, my feet are hard and I said, I don't care. You know, come let me rub your foot. I actually don't care because me, I'm the kind. Remember, because I think
we used to have to rub his feet.
Right. And I think that's what happened is that we would have to rub my mum's foot after she's had a bath and rub it down with the emery board, you know, or no, what's that one called? The
Rub
metal
the hard skin.
Yeah, and I think that's where I got it from. That I didn't have to do it, but obviously I did because
your mother's calling me. Mummy used to say,
come on, rub my foot, and you're gonna have to go and do it. You know, even if you don't want to do it. So after a while, you know, instead of like being resentment, being, you know, you're coming now and you think, oh yeah, you know what, I can do this.
Remember when we used to laugh at each other? When we used to laugh at each other, and it would be like it's your turn to have to rub mum.
Yeah, it's like, see, you got called going. or it would be, you know, it would be the come on, wash me back, and you're like, oh man. But you know what? When I look back now, I appreciate that because it gave me and mummy quality time, you know, because she'll be talking about something, even though we get quality time when we get told off because it'll be like 10 hours of conversation. But you know what I mean? It was a one-to-one. Do you want to read some of them?
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna. This TV just came off of a pause and it's playing. Okay. It's like,
go on then, sort it out. So Faye said, "You joker" at Maurice, aka Paul. Again, Faye said, "I'm proper funny with the right person. Maybe you were too dry, Paul." She also says, "Cow foot, chicken foot, cheesy foot."
Wow,
you're proper going in there, Faye. And then she said, you was trying to remember what the actual thing was, and she reminded you that it was a pumice stone. Sharon Winter, my daughter's father is like that. He looks at your feet before your face. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. If your feet don't stay good.
What's the movie? Boomerang. See, I had to, because I mean, if your feet are really mash up, and they're like clawing at you like this, then no, I don't want it. I don't want it like that, or they're crossed over like this, looking at you.
Well, you don't want them probably touching you, but if they're covered up.
No, I don't want them to touch me, and I don't want them, and that can. No.
I'm not that individual, but I think that when it comes to like touching, yeah, it can be, you know, intimacy, but I think that any kind of form of touching, you know, can be quite intimate, you know. If you're hugging someone. So if I'm at the kitchen sink and Gary comes and he hugs me around my neck, you know, that isn't because he wants to, you know, be sexual. It's just that intimate touch. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's and there are sometimes I think that when that's something that you like, you can obviously put that on somebody else, like what I was saying in the beginning.
I think it's easy like that.
Yeah, and that little video clip that I showed, if you didn't watch it, it's at the beginning. That was saying that we often love people the way that we want to be loved. And I think that it can be difficult if you are a touchy-feely person and you're with somebody who's not very touchy-feely. I think that can be quite difficult because your desire is to, I like to touch, but I also like to be touched. That's a question. Is that quite normal? Like, you know, in the sense that if you like acts of service, do you want somebody to do acts of service to you? Not necessarily. I think that the touchy-feely one for me is very important.
Do you know what? You just highlighted something for me. When you're dating, I think all of these come into play. When you're chasing someone, I think all of these come into play somewhat. You know, the physical touch, because we could look at it that there is a lustful desire, you know, and so, you know, you might brush their hand, hold their hand, stroke their chin, you know, put your hand in their hair or his locks, you know, and acts of service. For those people who love language, acts of service, speak louder than words rather than vocalizing. Yeah, you see, you know, oh, let me get the door for you. You know what? No, don't worry about that. I got the bill. I got the bill, baby. You know, And that's her saying it to him. No, what do you mean you're going to pay for it? No, 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 no. You know, affirmations again, right there. I think it happens in dating, and I think over time.
But I think that they happen generally across the board, not just in dating. But
I think it's there. But I'm just saying that I think all of them come into play.
Absolutely, I think so. But then when you're now settled with that person, there are some that are gonna kind of like you're gonna fine tune it in that relationship. I don't think that I think all of them are in play. Don't get me wrong, all the time. But there are some, like I said, if you was to buy me stuff, but you don't spend quality time with me, that wouldn't work for me. But then there are other people, because I do know people where they're like, my husband, he works out of London, yeah, and we just see each other like normally on the weekends, and I'm like, that couldn't work for me, but it works for them perfectly fine. And her one, it's him. For her, it's acts of service and the gifts buying, buying. And I said, what about quality time? But she likes time by herself. So when he's not around, she's cool because she likes that time by herself. But no, that wouldn't work.
Do you think that in a situation like that, because I know a situation where, you know, there was a couple living like that, and he's working away from home. Actually, he lived away. He had his own place. Like, he had his place in London and she had it somewhere else. And so he's working in London, he's doing his work, and then he'll travel up at the weekend, and then he'll go back on a Sunday. However, there was times where he'll come up late and he'll leave, you know, he'll have his sex, and then he'll leave hours in the morning on the Saturday or in the Saturday evening. So she, you know, but she liked quality time. So she didn't have a problem him living like that or them living like that. But she wanted it that when he came, that he gave her his undivided, you know, the quality time, because she would have been more happier like that had he been giving her, not just rushing off. Because then what it looks like now is that you're getting an act of service and you're gone. Yeah. And I want the act of service, or you servicing me, you know, but I need you to stay with me a little bit longer. You know, if you've got to leave, you know, Sunday and you're tired on Monday morning, then so be it, because you've given that person your time, if that's what they require. And that's why it is important to understand that person's love language as well. And like I said, it's you've got to navigate through this, because I think sometimes as we get older as well, so I think this interchanges as well, you know, then, because I look at me now, and I'm not the same person, obviously, that I was back then. And there were certain things that were key to me. I still had the touchy feeling, but it would have been in a totally different order, you know, back then. And as I've got older, there are certain key things, as I said, that I kind of require and desire, you know.
So what are you saying, that over time your love languages have changed?
Yeah, I would definitely say. I mean, when I was younger, receiving gifts, man, give me some gifts, man. You know, yeah, buy me something. What do you buy me? What's that? Is that what you got me? You know, quality time was definitely not on there. You know, I'm with you, but I'm busy, man, as well. You know, I'm gonna go and see my friends, and we're gonna go up here, and we're gonna do this. And hold on a second, who's she? And I've gone off with somebody else instead, and having quality time over there with that person. You know, so when I was younger, it was a little bit different. Affirmation definitely wasn't in there. You know, that just didn't come into play. You know.
But what do you think about affirmations?
Let me read it, and then we'll agree with this or disagree. For others, it is what you say that means the most. This could be through giving compliments or cute pet names. You could send you could send good night and good morning texts to let them know you're thinking about them. It's thought people who prefer this love language Yeah, they are more sensitive to insults and arguments. So the expression "think before you speak" could not be more applied. See, and
Mhm.
I am definitely, when you speak to me, you need to know what you're saying, you know, because not that I'm not easily offended, because we covered that last time,
Yeah,
but I take you at what you say. If you
me
say, you
too.
know what, you just get on my nerves, I believe you, because you wouldn't be
Mhm.
saying that if it wasn't true. But rather
Yeah,
that, sometimes you see that word sometimes makes a big difference to me than you always. We were talking about that as well. You
absolutely.
always get on my nerves. You always just do that. Do I always, or do I sometimes? And I have a
Mhm.
tendency that's how I express myself now. And try, like I said, and I keep on saying, and I say it every single week, I'm getting out of my feelings,
Mhm.
because where I was easily offended,
But is that
all
you being
comes
in
forward.
your feelings, or you wanting someone to be very specific about what
I
they're
want
saying?
I want to be, but then that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to just respond to the negative. What I'm going to do is try to analyze myself and what the person's actually saying. When they say
Mhm.
always, I don't want you, if it's, so I will reaffirm, is that always? So do I always do this thing?
Mhm.
And see if they say yes, that's the worst thing you can do. I will say, so when was the last time? Okay, and when was that one? Yeah, because it's not always, it's just a figure of speech that you
Yeah.
always just do that. You
But
you
then,
always you always go out.
but
Well,
then
then what do you mean?
there are some people where they speak, but they don't really think before they speak. So when you say to them, "Is it always?" they can turn around and say, "Well, yes, it is always." And then if you turn around and say, "Well, give me an example," they'll be very quick to say, "I can't think of anything right now." Yeah.
I don't keep.
However, you always do that. Well, give me an example. And then you might find that that person will probably retract, but not want to retract in the way by saying, "Oh, maybe it's not always." They will probably project it onto you and say, "You're just being picky with my words.
Yeah,
You're just picking up on words," when in actual fact you don't need to be so picky with words. But typically people do use extremes,
hmm
and sometimes because you know that it's not all the time, you can decide whether you're going to chase that rabbit or not,
hmm
because you fully well know that that person's probably in their emotions, in their feelings. If you're in your emotions, in your feelings, 9 out of 10 times you'll chase that rabbit. But if you're not, you'll be like, here they go again with extremes.
You see, with me, I think it's the correction. Please correct yourself, because I don't want you to say something that's not true. Because if
But
you say it
sometimes
now,
people
that's
don't
it.
want to do that when
That's
they're
how
in their
that's
feelings.
but that's what you can also think of me. That's your perception of me. So if that's your perception of me, yeah, of course you're going to say that. And what for me, I want to. I don't want you to create something that's not true about me, because we're in a
Absolutely.
relationship. Because guess what happens? For me, I seen that it carries on the next time and the
Hmm.
next time and the next time. So what I try to do is that I'm trying to eliminate that. Whether I do or don't is not relevant. But that's what I'm trying to do, so that we're communicating on the right level. Because if
Yeah.
we're communicating on the right level, then you're going to specifically tell me when you did this. You see, I
Mhm.
like,
But that's why I said, if you are both in your feelings,
yeah,
that conversation isn't going to go anywhere, and you're both going to
mm,
be chasing a rabbit for no
yeah,
reason. And
mhm,
the main reason why you started the conversation, and the reason, what the point that you was trying to get across, or they was trying to get
discipline,
across, will get lost,
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're
yeah,
both in your feelings. You're saying you do it all the time. You're saying I don't do it all the time, and you're both backwards and forwards. One person
hmm
don't want to back down. The next person saying, "Well, when did you do that?" I tell you, when you say to somebody this, when did I do that? And then they bring up something that you did. Now you're chasing another frigging rabbit.
of course
And,
you are.
and now you're talking about what you did ages ago, and then that person saying, yeah, well, I'm giving you an example of what you told me to give you an example, and then you
and that
now
person that, yeah.
right, they've given you that example, and then you're saying, oh, I did that because of X, Y, and Z,
and
then
that was
they're
ages
saying,
ago.
yeah, but I didn't like when you did that, and this is how that made me feel, and then you're in another argument, like something completely different. And that's why, if you know that that person's being extreme with their language, you always do that. Don't get in your feelings. Don't get in your feelings. Allow that to slide. And when that person has calmed down, you can definitely have that conversation. You know, when you were saying the other day, I always do that. I recognize that I don't always do that. And I think that that was probably a bit extreme. And you'll get a better conversation out of that person than if they're all in their feelings. Yeah, you always do that. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do.
Yeah. And that see, I don't play that game like that.
It doesn't go anywhere.
See, my one is more that I say, is that something that you, like I said before, when was that? And even if they went back, I say, okay, so it isn't always, because if you've gone back to there, then, and this is the next time, then it's not really always. However, yeah, because if I could chase it and keep going, but it's however,
yeah,
that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Okay. And we continue the conversation, because you're right. See, before I'll chase the rabbit all the way down until I ring the rabbit.
Chase the rabbit,
I ring that neck of
chase
that
the cow, chasing everything.
Yep. But you see, with me, as I said, I'd kill everything dead. Yeah, meaning that if it meant that I said, you know what, I don't need to hear none of this, and I'm gone. There was an arrogance about it at the same time, and I learned that sometimes what the person's saying is actually true. You know, not that always, but what they're saying is true. So I don't need to fight a battle of truth, because if it's true, it's true. If I don't remember, I will say I don't remember that. They said, no, you did. I say, you know what? You say I did, then that's what I must have done then. But I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That just kills an argument in itself. But that's a whole different subject again. But it is again the languages. It's all about language. It's all about love language. We want to please one another. If you're in a relationship and it's all doom and gloom, what happened to pleasing one another? What happened to meeting each other's needs? You know, because how can you ever be happy in tension all the time?
Yeah.
She's peed off. He's peed off. Don't touch me. Touch me. Oh, what are you doing? It's that hostility.
Through understanding someone's love language, you will enrich your relationship.
Yep. Start eliminating.
If you don't strive to understand what pleases your partner, and whether you want to put it down to love languages or personality types or whatever way you want to put it, you have to get to know and identify what works for your partner versus what doesn't work for your partner. And you have to listen to them when they're saying, I don't like that. I don't like it when you do that. I don't like it when you constantly criticize. You have to then recognize that this person will thrive off of affirmation. Because if they can notice that you criticize a lot, then they will be able to embrace your affirmations when you're saying, oh, that's nice, or you did that well, or whatever. But sometimes people just don't know how to do that. They don't. Sometimes people don't know how to affirm. And again, in situations like that, you might have to teach that person how to affirm you. Do you get what I mean? Because you know, you can want these love languages, and those can be your love languages. But if that person doesn't know acts of service, if that person don't know about touching, you know, that's your love language, they're not going to do that. And so you can be the good teacher and say, this is what really works. This is what works for me. So how many of those did you read out, Paul?
I only read the one.
No, you said affirmations as well.
Did I say affirmations? So I done physical touch, people who love language and acts of speaking louder than rather, done acts of service, affirmation. For others, it's what you say. I did read that. I was going to
Yeah.
just say to you, for some people, you know, they might think that affirmation is that the person is needy. Why do you need me to tell you that I love you? Why do you need me for this? That's their love language, and you can't criticize somebody of having that particular want or desire to hear that. You know, again, we could, if we was to break it down, you know, look at it from a psychological standpoint, maybe it is some kind of trauma, but nevertheless, this is the person that you're with. Why would you not want to affirm them? You know, why would you not want a pet name for them, or why would you not want to say, you know what, you know what, I just think you're absolutely gorgeous. You know, I love the way you smile, or the way your eyes squint when you smile, and you've got these little cute little bit. What's wrong with that? You know, this is the person.
There's nothing. That's the thing. If somebody don't want to affirm you, I don't get it. Why would you not want to? What would be the reason why you don't want to do that? What is it taking away from you to please that person? If that person is the person that you love and you want to be with for the rest of your life, and you know that is going to make that person feel absolutely amazing, why would you want to rob them of that?
That's right.
And in turn, you're robbing yourself, because if you're pleasing that person feels loved up and they feel like you're with them 100%. Guess what? That person is going to be showing out. They're going to be maybe not affirming you, but they'll be fulfilling your love languages. They'll be doing the things that you want them to be doing. So can you imagine, you don't affirm somebody, they're just miserable. Because they're miserable, they're going to make your life miserable. Or because they're miserable, you're not going to be able to have a conversation with them. You're not going to be able to chill with them. You're not going to. So there's no harm in you doing that. And like, you know, there are some women who feel like, if I was to say to my partner, to my husband, that one of my affirmations, one of my love languages is affirmations, that they might think I'm needy, so they don't do that. You're robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself, because if somebody is not going to want to affirm you, then, and you're not married to them, don't bother, because it could be one of your fundamental needs that needs to be met. And the worst thing is, you need affirmations and you're not getting it from your husband or getting it from your wife or your partner.
Come on now.
And somebody else gives them that. You don't want that to happen. How can you sit there and say, I'm not gonna affirm you because you come across all needy? Trust me, somebody will start to affirm them, you know. And if they are not in the right space, if your relationship isn't going great, it might be just wrong. It might be the wrong man or woman that affirms them, you know, because there is always something that you can admire about somebody. Always. You know, and if you're not saying to someone, oh, you're beautiful, or, you know, you're handsome, I like the way you look, you know, I like the way you walk, you know, you did that well, like champion them. That was really good when you did that. I thought that was amazing. You know, I like it when you said that, or you went here, or, you know, you're able to get those qualifications. If you're not doing any of that, come on, you're not putting yourself in a good position. You're not.
That's right.
You're opening the door for other people to come in. And if that person isn't mindful, you know, they would be taking that affirmation from people who are not going to enrich their lives. They're gonna they can cause their life to go on in a completely different tangent. And if that is you and you're in that kind of position, make sure that the people that are affirming you are not another guy or another female, you know, who is single, or somebody that likes you. Make sure that you get that from friends and family and people who wish you well, because if you find yourself around people who probably like you or are attracted to you and they affirm you before you know it, there's that emotional tie, that emotional connection, because this is what affirmations do. And talking with your partner and fulfilling the love language, it bonds you. Do you know what I mean? It binds you with that person because they're meeting a fundamental need of yours. Anyone who meets a fundamental need of yours, they're in relationship with you.
It's funny you saying that, you know, because something you were just saying there, I was thinking, you know, I'm like with my wife, when she gets stressed and she's out, yeah, sometimes I actually deliberately don't say anything straight away. And I'm busting at the seams and I wait for the right time and I say, you know what, you look absolutely gorgeous. I love what you're wearing. It looks so good. But guaranteed, if what I'm wearing, she'll say, you know, you look really handsome, you look really nice in that. And she'll say, but you always look nice as well. And I get all coy, but I like giving that out, you know, and I believe that if someone don't look good, don't say nothing, you know, don't big them up because of that. But moreover, you can kind of steer someone, guys, this is for you, you know, girl, you can't wear that out, you know, you can't wear that. No, that's not the one. Baby, that's nice, you know. You know what? I think would really look nice. Know her wardrobe. Yeah. I think this would be really good tonight. You know, the place that we're going, I think that might be a little bit too much, or, you know, however you're going to term that. But this just sits right in the middle. I think, you know, now if she insists that she's wearing it,
No, you can do it.
That's up to you now. I'm not going to tell you because I know what I'm doing, you know. But
it's the way how you can say to someone.
How you say to somebody.
You ain't going to say to someone, go and take that off. That don't look right.
And it's okay to say, you know what, baby, that's a bit tight, you know, or that's a bit see-through for where we're going, or that's a bit too short, you know. And because you're being honest, generally that woman will take your honesty because of the way that you said it, you know, or him, like, I know you're wearing the jacket, but that string vest don't go. You can't go. No, yeah. I got, you know, the shirt that I bought you, or you know that shirt that you got. What was? I think that would look nice. It's finding the right words and saying it in the right way that can make a big difference. And
absolutely,
it flourishes. Go on. You guys are quiet out there. You guys are quiet.
I was actually agreeing with you. So my my battery on my laptop. One sec.
I plugged mine in already. Huh? No.
I thought I had it plugged in. So yeah, I was in complete agreement with you with that. It's the way how we speak. I think that when we look at the love languages, the 5 of them, how many did you go through? 3?
I went through 3. I'm just gonna read these. Yeah. Quality time. This love language centers around the idea of time well spent. People who prefer this will be bugged if you are on your phone or you are too busy watching the TV to listen to them when you are spending time together. Dedicating time and energy towards them is key. So being a good listener and devoting your full attention to them is what they value the most.
Yeah. But you know what? You see quality. Is that it?
No, I was going to, yeah, that's it for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see the quality time, it's slightly different for me personally. So if I'm at home, Gary's watching football, yeah, and I'm just in the room with him, just chilling, I'm cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something that I recognize that I loved when my kids were small. Just being in the room with them, whether they're playing their games or whatever. And they're actually, I don't know all of them, but certainly Terrell and Ethan, if I'm just around, they're cool. Like, you don't have to be really talking to me or anything like that. If you're in my space, that is good for me. It doesn't always have to be a conversation. You know me, I love to talk. But again, if you're just in my space and you want to watch TV, want to watch football or whatever, I'm cool with that. there is a time and a space where I want to have that time when I'm sitting and I'm talking with you. So, you know, what I like is that both me and Gary can be quite spontaneous. So he can, you know, a few weeks ago when it was nice and warm, he finished work early and he was like, what are you doing? At the time I was at home on the laptop, and he was like, you want to just pop out and just meet me in the park? I'm on the way home. And I was like, yeah. I just packed up everything, got a few drinks, got some ice and met him in the park, and we just chilled for a little while. Do you get what I mean? And so it's, for me, that's quality time. We just sat in the park, we played a few games of cards, we listened to some music, we just chilled, and that was it. It wasn't nothing expensive. We didn't go out to dinner or lunch or anything like that.
But it's quality time.
It's just quality time, you know. Just sometimes we might be at home and it's like, do you just want to go for a walk? We'll just walk around the blocks, looking at our neighborhood, different parts, different houses. Oh, I haven't seen that before, because both of us are drivers, haven't seen that before, you know. And it's literally quality time, you know.
See,
but
I think
quality time for me is just sometimes just being in that person's presence as well.
Yeah. See, I remember where me and Catherine, we would, especially when we first got married as well, we had that. There was no there was children, but not, you know, on an everyday basis like my children.
Yeah.
You know, but we had so much time together. We used to we got so many pictures. We'd go to Westminster, because she wasn't from London, go there, walk around Covent Garden, just anywhere we wanted to go, you know, Greenwich, especially. We used to go Greenwich a lot, you know, and just spend time together. However, now that we have the 5 children, we're both like that. We both like each other's time. It's only now that they're gone to school now, the youngest one half day, where we can we go shopping, you know, and I don't have no issues in going, and we're going shopping together and whatever we're picking up, or we go to Costco, you know, just being with each other, and we laugh and we joke. There's a little role play from me, you know, might be a funny walk, it might be a dance, whatever else it is in the store. Like the last time we went, you know, it was about our trainer socks, you know, the little socks. And I'd bought some, and I'd given her I think a couple of pairs or a pair, but they were big for her. So anyway, she ordered like 5 pairs for herself, and I said, and she gave me one. I said, but no, I gave her 2. Yeah. And I said, what do you mean you couldn't order any for me? And so, you know, it was a conversation, and we laughed and joked about it, and it shut down. However, we're now in Costco, and I saw some. So I picked up 6. So she said, any of these for me? I said, no. And then I started to say it to everybody, you know what this is? I bought some, and I explained that same thing. And she won't even buy. She told me she ain't buying me any. Yeah, so I'm buying my own. Oh, you buying your own? And it was a big thing. We literally brought everybody into, well, not everybody, but everybody in that surrounding. People in other queues are laughing, everything else like that. And we like that. She's not embarrassed, and we bounce off of each other like that when we're out in role playing, but a truth, but yet it's fun. Do you know what I mean? Because we're in each other's space, and that there again, that laughter comes up again. To be able to laugh, and I love that funny. I love to have fun, you know. And I don't mind how you do it. I don't get offended if we're out and you said whatever she said. I'm not going to be like, why are you saying that here? Why are you doing that? Why are you acting like that? I remember we're going shopping, and I acted like an Irishman, and I did an Irish accent most of the time. Baby, you want us to get some of this? And that was my worst accent, by the way. I do better than that, you know? And she was cracking up, you know, and people were looking like, there's a black man speaking
Irish,
you know, in London here. You know, it's those kind of things that is a must in your relationship. Don't let it die. You know, a lot of us do let certain things die. You know, guilty is charged as well, you know, but recognizing it now and starting to apply that. You know, we're not, half of us are not boring people. So those that are boring, they choose to be.
So what I wanted to ask anyone in the chat, what do you think about laughter being a love language? Would you kind of agree that laughter probably is a love language? Because a couple of you said it in the chat. You just mentioned it, Paul. I love to laugh. I think that Jace was saying earlier on that, you know, could there be different ones? Could there be ones that you know, additional to the ones that we actually spoke about? And I said, yeah, there probably is. That there probably
Faye
could
said
be.
it as well.
Lydia, and I think Sharon and Faye all spoke about laughter. So would any of you agree that we could probably add laughter to the love language, or to our own personal love language? You don't have to stick to a book. You know, it's us that wants, you know, that relationship with someone, and we want to feel a particular way. We want our relationships to be a particular way. So, you know, you can adopt that to, you know, your life and say, right, one of my key love languages is laughter, for me to be, for somebody to make me laugh, you know.
Absolutely.
And I like laughter. I like to make other people laugh. Like Faye always says that I make her laugh because I say and do silly things. But sometimes it's just like dry humor for me. It's just my personality, the way how I say something, and it will make somebody laugh, you know. And I'm just being me, you know.
That's what happens to me on here, you know. It's not trying to be funny, you know. And if no one else laugh, I laugh anyway because I find it funny. I don't feel no way, you know what I mean? Yeah, but generally, I think I think it's a key. You know, they say that when you're, as a man, when you meet a woman, if you can make her laugh or smile in the first 5 to 10 seconds, you're already there.
Yeah.
And
I think that people do aim to do that. Humor comes into relationships a lot. You know, if you can make someone smile, if you can make someone laugh, then that person is more likely to be attracted to you. You know, they said, most definitely think laughter is a love language. So I wonder why these professionals haven't got it down, or maybe because that was 1992 and it wasn't something that you know.
Yeah, but even when I was doing my research, I still didn't come up, but I didn't find anybody listing it or putting it in there today, especially. And I'd never, in the time past, I still haven't, even though they've mentioned there are other things. I'll have to check my notes, because I remember I was doing a little study on this ages ago. So I'll have to check my notes and see if I got it on there. But go on.
I didn't actually put that
one
up. Did
Carl.
you?
No, it must have been you. My hands are here.
Oh, okay. I believe it's almost possible to say anything to your spouse, stroke partner, if thought is given to articulation and consideration for the positive outcome on both sides. Absolutely. I think so. I think so. And I think that was in relation to what you were saying in regards to the clothing, you know, and being able to say to your partner. But again, I think that we have to be sensitive to what and how that person might be thinking and feeling. So if you know, a week or so ago, you heard your husband or your wife, your partner say, you know, I'm feeling fat, or I'm feeling skinny, or I'm feeling some kind of way, and then you see them in a particular clothing, and you're like, no, that's not working for you. That person is going to be thinking, they're thinking, I look fat, or I look too skinny, or
you agree that
you're
I
feeding
do.
into that insecurity or that thought or feeling that they had. So it's just being sensitive and listening to what that person might be thinking or feeling about their personal image at that particular time. And it's not just about personal image. They could be talking to you about, you know, not feeling so confident at work, you know, something's come up, or just recently they haven't passed an exam or something, and then you'll say, oh, well, that's a stupid thing you just said. Why would you do that?
Or you know, you're dumb. You know,
yeah, why would you do that when that person's already in that frame of mind? You know, you can articulate that in such a different way. I wouldn't think that you would say that, to be quite honest. You know, rather than saying that was a stupid thing to say, you can say, I would have thought that you would have said that. You know?
I think we need to get rid of Faye off of here. Yeah.
Right, what is she saying?
We need to ban her. Yeah. Yes, you're defo funny at Debbie, not dry like Paul, aka Maurice. Yeah? I think it's time for her to leave. You know. It's okay. You know, Miss Faye. It's all right. Anyway, I wanted to go to Carl. And let's go to someone who's talking some stuff that's positive here, yeah, and true, yeah. However, in some relationships, there's too much competition where at least one party reserves the right to vent and have the final say, regardless of the catastrophe result. Pride, which is very true. Pride does come into it. It's funny you saying that, you know, Carl, because I remember dating somebody, and I remember.
He said
catastrophic. Thank you. I got dressed and I was looking the way I look, because I do like to dress, you know, especially going out. And I don't look for that affirmation. You know, if you're going to tell me that I look good, thank you very much. And I'm going to receive it, because I already know that I've taken time to look good in myself, you know, and you pay a compliment. And the person got dressed and I said to them, you look really nice. And they said to me,
I could tell by the laughter.
They said to me, why are you in competition with me? I said, that's strange. It's a strange thing to say. I said, you're a woman and I'm a man. How you dress and how I dress, we're not dressing the same in regard of what we got on. If we're together, so we complement one another. How can I be in a competition with you? If I look good, you must look good, you know. But I just told you look good, and you're telling me why am I in a competition with you? I didn't understand that. But you know, with what Carl said, it reminded me that there are some people, they don't want to pay a compliment to you. They're looking, you look good, but you know something, I ain't saying nothing to you. Yeah. You know. But yet, when you go out and then you get the in front of them, someone says, "Oh, Paul, I love that suit, whether male or female. I love that suit. You look really good. Your husband looks really good. Watch this, or your boyfriend looks really good." I know. Listen, don't say you know when you're just telling me I'm in a competition with you. You liar. You're just a liar. Yeah?
No, but you know what it is. Sometimes when you're shining brighter than someone else, it makes them feel like their light is dimmed and that no one is going to see them. Do you get what I mean? But if you're with someone and you look good and your partner looks good, you both are just rocking it.
You're
Do you know
both
what
shining.
I mean?
You're both shining.
And if your wife isn't looking as good as you and somebody compliments you as the husband, the wife will be like, yeah, my husband always looks good. He looks sharp. Do you get what I mean? And vice versa. If you're the man and your wife or your partner's you're not looking as great as them, and people are complimenting them, that's for you to say, absolutely, she always looks fabulous.
That's right.
I think that sometimes people find that difficult to do if they haven't already complimented you. So if they haven't complimented you before, and then everybody else is complimenting you, you're lagging. Do you get what I mean? You should be the first person before you step out of the house to compliment your husband or wife or partner. You should do that first before anybody else does that. That's how I see it anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, my husband looks good. I'm telling you, you look good before anybody else says it. All they're doing is adding to what I already know. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah, I wouldn't want somebody to be my husband going out and he's looking fly and somebody else complimenting me, and I'm just backing up, and I'm backing up what they're saying. No, I'm not backing up what they're saying. I'm the first person. I can see you. I got two eyes in it, so I can see how great you look before we leave out. So I will compliment you and say. And the thing is, compliments go further than you looking good. You can smell great. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
And
that's
not
right.
look fly.
That's right.
But you smell amazing. Your beard is cut nice and looking sharp. Do you know what I mean? It goes far beyond just your appearance. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
right. That's right.
So yeah, I think that it's important.
What I love about my wife is that when she dresses, she asks me, "What are you wearing?"
Mm-hmm.
And she'll build around what I'm wearing as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I change, she'll say, "You changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay." And she might well change as well and build around that. That both of us are in similar colors or the same colors. You know, we went to a wedding just recently, and I ordered some suits. I got some suits, and I weren't too sure what I wanted, and I sent back one, and I sent back two, and I left one there. No, I didn't. I sent back three, left one there, the grey one, and I said, I'm not too sure. And she said, yeah, you might change it, you know. But in her head, she then bought the different ones as well, just in case, you know, I would change my mind. So I would have different colors, and she knows what kind of colors I like anyway. And that grey one, but she bought one specifically to go with that. And when it comes to the crunch, I said, I'm just going to wear it anyway. You know, this is the one I'm going to wear. And she had the dress to well, actually, she looked absolutely, I think for me, yeah, she was shining. Her shine was more than mine. When we got there, people were talking about her shine and talking about my shine. I mean, I had a guy said, he just came up and said, man, your brother that knows how to dress, look at that. It was like, okay. And I think men need to be comfortable to compliment men. You know, whether it be the aftershave, whether it be his shoes, whether it be the suit, whether it be his hat, whatever it is, we need to be comfortable and enough to say, look how you just, the guy who was telling me, he was fly. Yeah. He was on a whole different level. We had like 3 colors on his shirt. He had it tailor-made, and he's telling me, and he's got these ripple things coming out. And I'm like, I'm saying, you're talking about me, but look at you. And he's saying, no, but look at you and the shoes that you got, and look at them shoes. And we were just throwing the compliments, you know. There was a bromance happening, and you know, it was healthy. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, men find it a lot more difficult to compliment each other. I mean, I was at an event on Saturday, and it was denim and white to wear, and they was doing like the best dress. And then when I went into the toilet, this woman said to me, as far as I'm concerned, you were my best dress, like for the night. You and it's those kind of little, you know, that's affirming somebody. That's something that somebody's done, and it touched me. I was like, oh, thank you so much. I said, that's so kind of you. And she goes, no, you look amazing. You know, I got several compliments on the night, you know, and I think that it's, for women, it's more normal. And I think that women should compliment men more. They should say, you know, you look really nice. I think it definitely boosts people's confidence. It makes them feel a particular way, and it's just a nice gesture. I see people on the street, and I say to them, "You look amazing." There was a lady today. We went skating, and her little daughter had on the cutest little kilt, and I was just like, "Oh, her kilt is adorable." And she said, "Oh, thank you." No, I said that to the child, but the mum received it for herself because she knows that she dressed the child. Do you know what I mean? So I know that made her feel good. Do you know what I mean? The little girl was none aware of it. But it's just those kind gestures that you can just throw out to people. It doesn't cost you anything at all.
It doesn't cost you anything at all.
It really doesn't. Read some of these. Yeah.
Laughter is a brilliant icebreaker and brings community, common unity. That's from Carl. I'm going to skip over Faye. I'm not letting Paul Maurice off after he said he never laughed when in conversation. I did say you missed it. You need to rewind and go back. I said I was only joking because when we done Scene of Angels and we were working in the back there, we laughed and we joked as well.
Wow, that's going back some decades.
You know? Absolutely, you know. So Faye, I was joking. Don't catch your feelings. I was joking. You are a humorous person. No, not really. Yeah, this is Faye again. Sounds like insecurities coming out when they mentioned being in competition with you at Paul. Very true. And I do believe they was as well. Carl says, I'm not an affirmation seeking person. I'm confident in myself. Presentation, regardless of people's opinion. Yeah, I hear that. And He says, my wife and I tend to wear some colors outside of planning.
Okay, so I wanted to ask
Oh,
Carl.
same, sorry, same.
So yeah, so if you're confident within yourself, because you said you're not an affirmation seeking person, so that's obviously not your love language at all. Does that mean that if somebody, based upon what you said I'm confident in myself presentation regardless of people's opinion, does that mean that people whose love language is affirmations, that they're not confident? Let me hear what you say about that. And then Faye said
I know you were joking.
yeah, she says that I know you were joking, Paul, because I think that people think that the whole affirmation thing, because I've heard that being said, that you're not confident if you need someone to affirm you, and affirmations is nothing to do with someone building your confidence. However, it actually does something for you internally. And remember, like earlier on, Paul, you said you don't know what that is in relation to, but love languages has something to do with you within your characteristics, just the person that you actually are, and what actually helps you to thrive as a human being. And so it's not going to be the same for everyone, but I don't think that it has to do, for me personally, I think that there was a period of in my life where my confidence was at an all-time low. And I also think this: if somebody's confidence is at an all-time low and you affirm them and help to build that confidence,
Come on.
again, surely that is a good thing. Because
Yeah.
if somebody is feeling out of sorts and they needed affirmations and you was the person that gave it to them, I think that that's awesome. I think that if you are contributing to help to build somebody up, I don't see no flaws or faults in that.
It's funny you saying that, Debbie. Something that came to my mind when I used to do the security many years ago when I worked in Victoria. I remember one Valentine's Day, you know, me and our team, just our team, because we were just the way that we were working there. I was single, you know, and I could act and be however I wanted to be.
You could mingle.
And I remember, yeah, I did, you know, what I remember watching the CCTV one day, and I saw this woman on her phone, and you can see her arguing now, you know, and she looked so broken in herself. And and this is Valentine's Day, you know, for what it was. I don't celebrate that anymore, but however, at the time. And so we used to get these roses from somewhere in the building. And so, you know, we would just give roses out. And as I saw her, we hadn't even done it yet. I grabbed the rose, I went out to her, and I said, "Excuse me," words to this effect, because I don't remember exact words, but I know how I am. And I said to her, as I'm security and I was panning around, "You look upset. You look like someone's upset you today. And I just wanted to give you," and I took the rose from behind me, "I just wanted to give you this and let you know that you're absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And don't let anybody tell you anything different to what I can see. And I'm not a silly man. I got eyes to see." And I gave it to her, and she said, "Oh, thank you." You saw her whole demeanor change.
Light up.
Yeah, she did. And then I walked away. You see, I wasn't trying to check her. I saw that there was something that disturbed me, that on this particular day, the day of love, as they say at the time, you know, somebody had disappointed her. Someone had made her feel a way about herself, or whatever it was. And what I wanted to do was shine a light on her and make her glow for a moment in time.
Make her
you know?
feel special.
And I think, yeah, without going into, you know, well, you know, I'm the kind of man that would really take care of you, know, and you know, hey, listen, if he's not do a Joe, you know, I'll do all the things what a man won't do, you know, that kind of. Then do you know what I mean? It wasn't anything to do with that. It's okay to pay a compliment and jump off. I remember I used to come from work, and when I was living at mummy's, and I remember I used to walk past this black woman all the time. She passed me at the police station, but listen, she was like a light that blinded me. Trust me, you know. But I wasn't after her. And I remember one day, and I'm looking at what she's wearing as well, and she put herself together in such a way that it reminded me of myself, if you know what I mean. You know how I used to dress when I was working in Harvey Nichols and that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so I said, every day I'm seeing this woman, I just wouldn't say anything to her because I was embarrassed at the same time until it just burst in me that what she's wearing that day was just too much. And I said, excuse me, I see you all the time and you dress so well. But I just wanted to tell you today that, listen, you look so good. That green that you got on with the dress and the way you got your hair and your shoes, man. I said, you look absolutely gorgeous. I just needed to tell you, you know. And she just looked at me like, thank you so much. And I said, that's okay. And obviously I went into the evening, never saw her again, you know.
Wow.
But it was just the fact that you stop and you pay someone, affirm somebody.
Yeah.
It's okay to affirm somebody. You just don't know what you're doing to them or where they're coming from or what insecurities that they had, you
That's
know,
right.
or what traumas that they had. And to have a total stranger stop and affirm you, yeah, it's an amazing experience. So
It's an amazing thing.
So Carl, we can go
No,
back
go to travel buffet.
No, I was going to say, no, you go.
Oh, okay. So Travel Buffet says, laughter is literal medicine for our souls. When I was sick, I saw how much my breathing improved after speaking with people who had me in stitches. Laughter is nourishment for our heart and soul. So there you have it.
Absolutely, cuz. It was okay to put my name up there, by the way, that I was one of them, but don't worry about it. It's okay now. It's past.
So Carl said he's a quality time person. So do you have one affirmation? Not one affirmation, one love language, Carl, or is there more? Faye says, no, sorry. Faye says affirmations show appreciation and you also get something out of boosting them up too. Yeah, because that person, after they've been boosted, it's the way how they respond to you also.
That's right.
Carl said, good point, Debbie, regarding affirmations does not equal confidence. Okay. Let's have a look. Sorry. Faye. It's a great feeling knowing that you've lifted someone's spirit. Absolutely. Definitely. That was my definition. This is Carl, and understanding, but I'm pleasantly challenged to learn what affirmation in a relationship really means, and what is that? We'll look into it. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, and we'll look into it. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I was
so
reading
for
it.
me, so the reason why I raised that is because, like what Faye said, it is showing someone appreciation. It is showing somebody and letting someone know, I see you. Do you get what I mean? I see you. I see your worth. I see your value. I appreciate you. I accept you. I acknowledge you. All of those things, that's what it does for someone. And especially if somebody has been overlooked, if they haven't been seen, if they haven't been heard, and you're saying, I see you, I hear you, I appreciate you, I value you, I see your worth. That's what affirmations does for someone. It actually reaffirms. It doesn't necessarily affirms them, but it can also reaffirm somebody. So if you are a confident person, what it does is says, yeah, I know I'm those things, and that person's reaffirming you, because I reaffirm myself. So I tell myself I'm beautiful, I'm kind, you know, I tell myself those things. That's me reaffirming myself. When other people do it, you're doing it as, you know, like a cherry on the top, as it were. You're doing what I do for myself. I didn't used to do that. And so the desire to be affirmed was greater before, because my value and my worth and my confidence was at a low. But what it did, it helped in times when I didn't feel confident, and when I didn't feel appreciated, and when I didn't understand my value. You know, what it did, people would say certain things, and after a while I would have to either reject it or accept it. And people who cannot accept compliments, there's normally challenges with their value and their self-worth, where they bat it away, where they don't accept it, they don't absorb it, because they're struggling within themselves. But the reason why it's such a key subject for me is because I work with a lot of women who don't have confidence, who are not affirmed. And I think that it's necessary when you can say to someone, that was amazing what you did. What you did was amazing. That, you know, I think that you've come a long way. I think that you're stronger than what you were. It's just those things that really helps and supports somebody to become like the person that they should become.
It's like Carl is, he loves cooking as well. He's a great cook. He puts things together. It's amazing. You know, can you imagine him being confident in doing that, and everybody who comes there saying it's all right?
Yeah,
it's all right. You know, it will give you a kick. It will kick you, even if you're confident about yourself. You know, confident that the food is nice and everything else like that, because you see, it's the palate. It's the person's palate. How it comes across to them. You know,
and they'd be like,
so that confidence thing goes out the window in itself. It's like I was thinking about a movie. Oh gosh, the penguin ones and the lion. I've forgotten the name of it now. And in Penguin there, there's a hip.
Penguin and Lions. Lion King.
Yeah. No, it's not Lion King, but those that know will probably put it up in a minute. However, in the movie, there's a hippo, and she likes the giraffe, you know, and the this other hippo comes along, and he's big, and that's it, Madagascar. Yeah, and you Faye would get, you know, well done, Faye, thank you. Yeah. And he comes along, and the woman's asking, he says, you know, he's talking, and she asks, you know, what is it that you like about it? Junkie. And it reminded me, I tell you, I don't know why, it just reminded me that there's someone that will put on weight or lose weight. And as husbands, we need to still be supportive. If they put on weight, then she's chunky. And you let her know, girl, you're chunky. Yeah. But I won't say if she lose weight, yeah? No, not really. Do you know what I mean? But the compliments need to be there to affirm her, because as you said earlier, is that women do have this thing on I won't say image. It is an image thing as well. That it can, again, we don't know where they're coming from. That person's coming from, that it knocks their confidence. And so for some women, oh, you're laughing at me. I'm not dry humor now, Faye. And you know, it can knock their confidence. And that's the same thing with men as well. You know, I've had, where I put on weight, I've had people say to me, look how you put on weight, look how you got man boobs and all this. You know what? I shake it all and I say, you know what? Yep. Because
but you know what, Paul, when it comes to that, I think that you really have the opportunity to support someone in that area. So you can say, come, let us go for a walk, come, let us go gym, come, let us, you know, let us,
if they want to do it,
eating. You know, there's so many opportunities to show that you care and that you can be supportive and that you can actually help somebody, rather than highlighting this person's put on weight, this person, I don't find you sexy anymore, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just support them? You tearing them down is not, if anything, that's going to make them yam the whole tub of ice cream. You know what I mean? Because, do you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you not try and support them? Why wouldn't you say, come, you know, if you feel like that, come, let us go to the gym. Come, let us do
you know, Debbie, I was with somebody who because I when I was growing up, you know, I always like big girls anyway in itself. And I remember somebody, I said to them, we were talking and she was saying she's put on weight and stuff like that. And she had, and I said to her, so you know, how do you feel about that? You know, I feel like this, blah, 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 blah. And I said to them, well, you know something, and this is the truth. If you want to do something about it, you can. Instead of moaning about it, you can do something, or, you know, beating yourself up. I actually use the word beating yourself up. And I remember that you know, they didn't do anything along the way. And then the conversation sparked up again. And I said to them, you know something, you know, I think you should do something. And the reason why I'm saying that is that, and people can agree and disagree with this. This is at the time. I said, I'm looking at it from a health standpoint with you. I listen to you at night, hardly, you can't breathe properly. You're struggling to breathe, you know, you're out of breath other times when we're walking, you know, and just your fitness level is just dropped. And, you know, they got so offended because I said, I don't mind the size you are, or if you went up 2 sizes, but 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes, I'm going to mind, because if I wanted to be with someone who was bigger than that, then I would have gone for someone bigger than that. I'm uncomfortable with that from a health issue as well, especially a health issue, because I have been out of girls at size 18 and 20, you know, and you're still building on that. And I don't want to be around, and, you know, we're in the bedroom and you I didn't want to. I really didn't. Yeah, it was just a thought, and I thought, you know something, but they were so offended at that. You know, not that I did that.
No, but it's again, like what we said, it's literally how you say things to people. It's not what you're saying.
I didn't say it in a negative. I didn't say it horribly either.
You're saying the right things, but remember as well, you can say the right things, but if you're pressing a sore point,
how it's translated,
it don't make any difference. Yeah, it's not going to make any difference, because what you're doing is telling them truth, and they're not confronting the truth. So for them, it's painful. It's painful. Yeah, I know. Absolutely. I need to lose weight. I know that I'm out of breath. I know all these things, but I don't know how to do this. This is very painful.
But you know the funny thing about it? They went and lost weight. They didn't lose weight with me. They lost weight after me.
Yeah.
You know, because it would have, that seed wasn't a negative seed. It would have stayed there, you know. Yeah. But however you're comfortable in yourself, don't let anybody knock your confidence. Whether you're big or small, you're the person that can change that. Go on, Deb.
What I wanted to say in relation to confidence is that the way life is and the way life will have us, we are never confident in every area of our life all the time. There's always going to be an area of our lives where we're lacking in confidence. And so when you look at yourself, you can say, right, I'm confident in my work, I'm confident in my clothing, but I'm not confident in my finances. I'm not confident in, you know, my speech. You know, there's always going to be something that we can build upon and we can grow upon and build our confidence in. And I think that sometimes when people just say, oh, I am confident, they put a blanket on it. And that's not 100% true, because there's areas where we would need to build our confidence in, and that's fine. And in those areas, if you're somebody that, you know, the affirmations is what you thrive on, that also can help to build that confidence in that area, if people can see you and hear you and value in that particular thing. But yeah, I do totally understand when somebody is finding it difficult, you know, relationship and not receiving the affirmations, and, you know, that can also put people on a downward spiral and eat the ice cream and do all the kind of foolishness. Don't you think
it's really funny, Debbie, how we've spoken about all of these 5, how this particular key is a key to a whole lot of the others as well. This affirmation I feel like with us talking about it, it's because, as I said, we spoke about the others as well, active servicing.
There was one more that you didn't do, you know. What was the final one?
I done quality time, didn't I? No, I didn't. I didn't do quality time, did I? No, receiving gifts.
Receiving gifts, you didn't do.
Whilst this can sometimes connote materialism, how people can look at it, it is more about what the gift means and symbolizes, as well as how much thought the person has put into it.
Like,
It doesn't
well,
have to be a diamond ring. Well, not every time anyway, as they put it. Sometimes as simple as a photo frame or the two of you together on holiday can speak volumes.
absolutely.
That's how they've broken it down.
Yeah,
You know?
I like
And
gifts. And last week I was speaking about giving Gary the gift of book of gratitude.
yeah.
That was a gift that I gave to him,
I think it's a
and
brilliant idea.
And it was just, I won't say just, it was me showing him gratitude for a gratitude diary from January, and gave it to him for our wedding anniversary. And that was just a simple gift, but it was a very meaningful gift because it was something that I wrote in every single day. I thought about things that he'd done that I
small as they were.
appreciated every single day for 7 months, you know. And it goes to show that you don't have to pay attention to the big things. It can be, this morning I appreciate the fact that you said morning to me. It can be something as simple as that, and it's just showing that person that you appreciate the small things as well as the big things. And so again, it's that giving, it's giving someone, it's affirming someone, it's a service, it's a whole combination of those love languages going on right there. So yeah, we've gone way over time today.
But I think there's a reason why, really, because for the next 2 weeks we're not going to be here.
For the next 2 weeks, guys, I'm not going to be here. And I think that it's kind of good anyway that we probably have a little bit of break. We've done like 16 episodes, but I'm going to be away for 2 weeks. And yeah, you guys can get your thinking caps on.
Absolutely.
You as well, Paul.
You know I always do.
And yeah, we can come back when I come back. And yeah,
looking all tanned and brown and
I'll probably, you know, when I went to Jamaica last time, I came back proper dark. You know, this year I wasn't out that much in the sun. Normally I get a tan. I wasn't out that much in the sun. I was indoors busy working. By the time I came out in the evening, most of the sun had gone. But yeah, I'll probably come back all bronzy, all looking.
It's all right. I had this one. I sucked it all in, even if it was just in the car looking like this. You think I'm joking? I do
head out the window like a dog, innit?
Yeah, no, not like a dog. No,
your tongue hanging out.
One arm gets darker than the other. Yeah?
I know.
I would put my hand. I'm joking. Yeah. Or when I stop, I turn my body. Yeah. Put it in the sun like this.
You're joking.
You know? Do you think Catherine would pull her skirt and the sun's coming in to give her legs a turn? Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, I've done that one before. Absolutely. So any final words from you guys? Any final words? So Paul, I think that we can concur that, you know, those are the 5 languages, love languages, but we've also added the additional one, which is laughter. Yeah. I think that that's a good one to add to it. And I think that if you know what your love language is, please share it with your loved one. Please don't make them be there guessing and wondering what the love language is. And if you don't, seek to find out what your love languages are.
You're really identifying.
You don't have to call it love language. Some people, they don't like that term. I'm not too sure why they don't, but you don't have to call it that. But you do you make it work for you in your relationship. But I think that it's essential for you to know what your partner's love language is and to endeavor to serve them from that space rather than what you think that you should give to them and loving them the way that you want to love them. So those are my final words. Faith told me to have a great 2 weeks holiday in Jamrock, and I absolutely will with my husband. We're going to enjoy some sun rays, some sightseeing, and I'm going to enjoy it. Whatever. You're just hating right now, ain't you?
Don't ask me. Yeah,
You're just
no,
hating right now.
no, you just have a wonderful time. You know what? You know I don't. I'm not like that at all.
No, I know you're not.
My final words are that talk to your partner, you know, your significant other. Tell them about how you feel in these love languages, or as Debbie said rightfully, whatever it is that you want to call it. But start exercising these things. You know, here I will say that as much as that I think that there's still room for progress with myself as well. So I'm going to be
Me too.
exploring and doing more, and with my wife, you know, and have a healthy discussion. It's not that I don't know hers, but I think when you're like, for instance, when I said earlier on that, you know, we don't get the time to go out and do the things that we want to, you know, other things become priority, other things become, our list then changes it, you know, on what we actually want now. And I think that that's a great thing to do, to have a discussion. And if I'm going to do it, I think a lot of you out there should do it as well. If you're going through trauma, you know, or I say, let's not use the word trauma. Let me use, if you're going through problematic situations in your relationship, have a look at these areas. Have a look at these, what we're calling the 5 love languages, but include that 6th one and others that you may identify as well. You know, laughter is definitely a key to it all. And that's my final word. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning into Gym Time, Get Your Motivation Time. Debbie, love you loads, you know, as always. And thank you all again. Share, like, and we'll see you by God's grace in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So well done. Thank you so much, bro, and love you lots. And guys, we thank you once again. And please, please, please like, share, subscribe. All right. Take care.
Yes.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.